CSS can be added to a web page in 3 different places, but they are not all equally effective. Understanding where to put your CSS is important because it impacts how organized, readable, and maintainable your code is. This idea connects directly to professional best practices in web development. As I mentioned, there are 3 main ways to add CSS to your web page. First, inline CSS. This means adding styles directly inside an HTML tag using the style attribute. Second is internal or embedded CSS. This is when you place your CSS inside a style tag in the head section of your HTML. And third is external CSS. This is when you write your CSS in a separate file and link it to your HTML document. Each method works, but they are not equally recommended. Inline CSS is the least recommended method. It involves writing CSS directly inside an HTML element, like this example. This approach might be used for quick testing or in rare cases where you need to override other styles. However, it generally is avoided because it's hard to maintain and doesn't scale well for larger projects. It also breaks the separation between structure, your HTML, and design, your CSS. Internal or embedded CSS is written inside a style tag, which resides in the head section of your HTML. This method is useful for small projects, quick experiments, or single-page websites. However, it has some downsides. The styles cannot be reused across multiple pages, and it can make your HTML file cluttered as your project grows. External CSS is considered best practice. In this approach, all of your CSS is written in a separate file, usually called something like style.css, and then it's linked to your HTML. This method keeps your code organized, allows you to reuse styles across multiple pages, and makes updates much easier. Because of these advantages, external CSS is the industry standard. Here's a quick comparison. External CSS is stored in a separate file and is best for real-world projects. Internal CSS is placed in the head and is okay for small or test pages. Inline CSS is written directly in HTML tags and should generally be avoided except for quick fixes. In summary, you should always aim to use external CSS for real projects. While CSS can be written inline or inside the HTML file, using an external style sheet is the professional standard. It keeps your work clean, scalable, and easy to maintain. Let's take a look at how CSS can be used in an actual web page. Let's put what we've just learned into practice. I'll show you a simple example that's going to demonstrate all 3 CSS methods working together. Then you'll be able to see the differences clearly. I've started off with a basic index file. As you can see, I don't really have any real content on my page yet. We'll go ahead and add some basic HTML. We'll be working with an H1, 2 paragraphs, and a div that I've assigned a class of box to. If we save our page, in the browser, the page looks like this. As you can see, in my root folder, I have a CSS folder which contains a style.css file. Presently, that file is completely blank. We'll go ahead and we'll utilize that file shortly. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add an inline style. Keep in mind that inline styles are the least used styles. I do want to show you, however, how they work. In order to add an inline style, you're going to use the style attribute, and then you'll make that equal to and whatever the style value is. We'll go ahead and we'll create a color, and we're going to make the color orange. Whenever you write CSS, you're always going to put the property followed by a colon, and then you're going to put the value followed by a semicolon. This is the same formula in which we create any sort of CSS. If I save my page now and we refresh, you can see how this paragraph now displays utilizing orange. Because we've created the inline style, the CSS is making this paragraph a specific color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add internal or embedded CSS. In order to use internal or embedded CSS, we place the code within the head section. I'll begin by simply making a comment, and we're just going to say internal/embedded CSS. When you create internal CSS, you'll utilize the style tags. All of your CSS must reside within the style tag. The style tag must be a direct descendant of the head section of your web page. Once you have the style tag present, you can go ahead and target any element. So in this case, I'm going to use the H1 selector to select the H1 element, and then I'll use the color property and I'll assign a value of teal. If we save our page now, you will see that the H1 element now changes to display as being teal. We'll add one more internal or embedded CSS style. This time we're going to target the div with a class of box. In CSS, when you want to target an element that has a class value assigned to it, we start with a period and then we specify the class name. So in this case, we're going to write .box. Then inside the curly braces, we can add as many declarations as we need to. Keep in mind that a declaration is just a property value pair. So I'm going to write background dash color, that's the property, and then we'll go ahead and we'll set this to yellow. I'm also going to add an additional declaration. This one is going to be for padding. Padding is a way that we can create spacing on the inside of an element. Every element in CSS exists inside of a box of some sort. So the padding is going to take up more space along the edge of the box. If we save the page now and we refresh, you'll see that the div now displays with a yellow background, and there's some spacing between the text and the edge of the box. That's a result of the padding. Finally, we're going to add our external CSS. In order to add external CSS, we're going to go ahead and use the link element. This also resides inside of the head section of your HTML. I'll go ahead and I'll make a comment that says external CSS. Then we're going to go ahead and use the link element. The link element needs at least two attributes. The first one is rel, which stands for relationship, and we're saying that the relationship is style sheet. And then we have the href attribute. You're familiar with the href attribute because it's the same attribute that we use on anchor links. Here, we need to specify the path of where the external CSS lives. So from our example here, we're on the index page. Our CSS file is located inside a folder called CSS. So from the index page, I have to go into the CSS folder, then I'll use /, and then I find the file that I want to link to. So now we're linking to this external style sheet file. At this point, the page is not going to change at all because our external CSS file doesn't have any content on it. I'll go into my style.css file and we write the CSS in the same way that we wrote our embedded CSS. We specify a selector, and then we'll go ahead and pass on the property value pairs. I'll set the color to purple, and I'm going to change the font size to be 18 pixels. If we save this and we refresh, keep an eye on both of our paragraphs. Notice that both of the paragraphs have increased in regards to font size. However, The second paragraph, that's the one that's using our inline CSS style. It is overriding the external style. How CSS works is that whatever style is essentially closer to the element will override previous styles, unless we're using the important modifier or because of specificity, we're using a more specific selector. But in this case, the inline style is closer to this paragraph, so it's going to override our external style. If we go ahead and make a style for paragraphs in the embedded or internal section of our CSS, we'll just specify the color to be set to red. You're going to see that the purple paragraph is now going to transform to red. Once again, this CSS declaration is closer to the paragraph than our external style sheet. So it's going to take precedent and override the external styles. The only time that this will not work in this way is when we're using specificity to be more specific. So if I go into my HTML and let's change this sentence to a paragraph, I'll go ahead and wrap this sentence inside of a P tag. So right now, this paragraph is a descendant of the div with a class of box. If we save our page and we refresh in the browser, you can see that now this paragraph turns red. What's happening is that it first gets styled from our external style sheet, which in essence makes the paragraph purple. That rule, however, is being overwritten by our internal or embedded CSS. That's changing the paragraph to be red. If I make a more specific selector, so let's actually do this in our external style sheet. I'm going to go into styles, and instead of using the paragraph of purple, I'm going to use a descendant selector. So we're going to write .box space P. This is a descendant selector, and what it basically says is find something that has a class of box. If it contains a paragraph, do this. So if we save our page now and we refresh, you're going to see that this third paragraph changes to being purple. The font size is also being applied to only this paragraph. These other two paragraphs have changed sizes to the default font size, so they're a little bit smaller. In this way, you can clearly see the cascade happening based on CSS, what type of CSS selector we're using, and how specific the selectors are. We can overwrite CSS. Now, I know at the beginning this can be a little bit confusing. The good news is that for the most part, you're only going to be using the external CSS styles. The main types of selectors you'll be using are going to be element selectors to start off with. You will sometimes need to use class or ID selectors so that you can be a little bit more specific. As we go through our course, we'll be working with these things so that you can see how they affect how we would develop and build a web page. Hopefully, this gives you an idea of the 3 ways in which we can apply CSS to our web page and gets you started in using various selectors and declarations, which are going to be made up of property value pairs. CSS is extremely powerful, and it allows you to start to design your web pages, which is where things get really exciting. In summary, external CSS lives in its own separate file. The internal or embedded CSS lives within this specific web page, and the inline CSS will override everything and only apply this style to whatever element contains the inline CSS.